My name is Aniece Germaine, and I am the first Haitian-American elected official in the city of Cranston. I am a mom of three beautiful boys, 10 years old, 12 years old, 7 years old, and I'm a married woman as well to Dr. Aniece Germaine. So we are both from Haiti. And I moved here in 2009 after a long, really disastrous situation that I want to go. It's a whole story that I don't want to talk about it.
That's fine. We don't have to do that
now.
Right now.
So I am also the founding member of a nonprofit organization, Hope and Change for Haiti, that I co-founded in 2016. And actually, I am the executive director of this organization. And I am also a member of many other organizations, volunteered before I was elected in 2020 as the councilwoman in Cranston. So what I'm doing right now is, it's election season. So I was elected in 2020. It's time to run again. It's a 2-year term for re-election. So I'm running for re-election right now. At the same time, I'm still doing my work, what I have to do, what I have in my agenda for my the time I was running in my platform.
Right. So you were elected 2 years ago. You have an opponent this year.
Yes, I have an opponent. I did have an opponent last year. So before I was elected, I have to mention I was appointed.
Yes.
The current council that moment resigned, and I was appointed by the majority. It wasn't the majority, but the council, city council member in our party, based on the law, they appoint someone to fulfill the remaining term of the previous councilor. So I was appointed in July 2020, and I won. I had an opponent at that time, but I won with 58% of the vote. This year is mostly probably tougher because it's election season where you have a CDC race and a lot of pushback, and I have an opponent, and so I don't know, but I know I do the work, and it's gonna be up to my constituents to make the choice.
Right. Over the years I've been covering Cranston, they've always been very close Democrat, Republican, and it's always shifted back and forth over the years. It's almost 50-50 all the time. What's the current makeup, and what do you see your position on the council as being? Like, how do you work with people with your party and against your party?
I have to acknowledge that my experience in the city council, in comparison to what I heard before, I can say it's not too bad for me.
Okay.
I do not research really past council, but from what I heard, it was like sometimes really hard. Like they were like fighting. Like there was not really good relationship. For example, with the school committee, and the school committee sued the mayor, for funding. So I think for my term, we had a good relationship with other council person. That's what it should be.
Right.
We have different philosophy. We have different approach to address the issue. But at the end of the day, we should have the same end goal to really solve the problem we face in our community. When I first started, when I was appointed, it was a little bit more difficult for me. I have to mention because when I was appointed, we had to have a vote in the council. So Democrat is minority in the city council. So there were 4 Democrat and 5 Republican.
Right.
So at the council meeting where I had to be appointed, they should have hold a vote. And I did not have 9/9 vote. So, but it's okay, all right?
Yeah.
It's okay. But I think this is something I have to say. It's difficult for the old tradition, Republicans to understand or to accept to have a black woman,
Right.
As an elected official, as appointed in this council. So
Yeah,
I think it wasn't easy for them to embrace that for those who did not vote for me.
Okay.
But I was happy I had Republican that voted for me. And sometimes they said it's happened, none of them vote for, but I think this collaboration, and as I mentioned, this collaboration helped to see how we can work together, how we can change the way we do things and moving forward. And I do believe from that perspective, we have moving forward in the right directions, because I think my presence in the council, my perspective, I have a unique perspective as not only a woman, but a black woman, an immigrant, a mom. So I have really a unique perspective to address things, even from my peer colleagues. So sometimes we don't agree on everything. And because I have really a different perspective on some of those things based on my experience, But I think it's a great relationship working together. As I mentioned, we cannot agree on everything, even with my colleague, my peer, my Democrat colleague.
All right, so for this campaign, you're out there and you're walking your district and you're talking to your neighbors?
Yes.
What are the types of subjects they bring up when you say, hey, what are you concerned about in Cranston? What are your issues? What are you thinking about? What do people bring up to you? What are the main issues, like 3 or 4 issues they think of?
My constituent, the one topic priority is quality of life. Quality of life is having the safety in the neighborhood. And like speeding is the number 1 issue they brought to me.
What is it?
Speeding,
right?
Speeding in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's the number 1 issue. They want to have their trash pick up on time. Mm-hmm. They want, when, like for example, the snow season will come, they want their street paved. They want their street that the snow be removed on time, not 2-3 days after.
Right.
And as we know that this time we have some issue that's not on our hands as a council person, as a local person. But for my constituents, they talk about safety. Safety is the one that should clean neighborhood. The parks need to be clean, renovated. And Butler Pool we had is the number 1. One of the, I say, number 1 issue is speeding, and number 2 is Butler Pool.
And they want it reopened? Is that the idea?
Butler Pool is one of the largest public pool in the country.
Yeah. And
for 2 years, this pool has not been open to the public. And I was, in the middle of the pandemic, and that's what I was told. It was because of the pandemic, the pool wasn't able to what they were like they could not, based on the guidelines from CDC. You cannot mingle with people, so based on that we could not open the pool. So that's what I was told, that was I was believed. But after 1 year, second years, and there were no money allocated in the budget for the pool, and I start asking questions: what happened? Why we have no money allocated to the pool? Because that's a line item. And I realized that as we talk about it, the pool could not open this year because of the safety concern. So the question is, how, in God's sakes, in the period of 2 years,
Right.
you have facilities that were serving people in 2018, 2019, and in the in a frame of time of 2 years, you can't open it because the building code is not updated. You all the facility. I went to tour this facility. It's a shame to see how, what in the condition the facility is. And for me, this is pure and simple neglect.
Yes.
And it has been neglected for a reason, I think. But we are working, as my constituent always asks, email me about it, when it's going to be open. And if you see how this year, the heat we have, this summer was horrible.
Right.
And we had to have cooling station in the city. We have to ask people to not go out, find a cooling place to cool off.
Right.
And the pool was a place for people, mostly people who are low income family, the elders. It's a proximate place where you can go, walk to the place, and you can cool off. And not only that, you have a situation where a lot of families do not have, the resources to go to private or to drive to Narragansett Bay to go to the beach, They don't have this the opportunity to do that. But just right here, you can have. I have residents that explain to me their story. They learn to swim there.
Sure.
And I think the administration could leverage this facility and turn it into a source of income. Open it, to more people, pay a little fee, and to keep it moving. But I think for me, before, that's my opinion, there was a shift on the usage of the pool. That's what I think. Because if there were a willingness really to think about those who need it the most, it should be a priority. Because people will find a way to, it's part of quality of life. Recreational, facilities, social facilities, those help people, right, to really live a better life.
Yeah.
And for me, what I did, we have the American Rescue Plan that President Biden, with the Congress passed to alleviate some, to give relief to municipalities, and Cranston is one of those municipalities that receive a lot of money, for the $6 million. So I think we can use some of the money to renovate or fix or repair the pool. But what what we want is the pool be available
Sure.
next year. So I introduced a resolution asking the administration to use the ARPA money. And this resolution were passed unanimously.
Right.
And the other 8 council member are, a co-sponsor. So
Right.
we all in the council agree that we need to open the pool for the people.
Okay.
So this is a major issue that the resident, are really concerned about, and they want it. And that's one thing that I'm working hard on it. And I put it on the council communication to have updates. Last night at our council meetings, we have an update, and it's all still in the agenda, and that's what I'm gonna continue to do because, our community changed. The demographic change since the census 2020, we have an increase in the population and the demographic change as well.
And what kind of demographic change is that?
We have right now we have a lot of more diversity, in the city that we have not had.
Is that the city or just this part of the city?
In the city.
In the city. Yep.
That we didn't have 10 years ago.
Right.
And this shifting may contribute to the neglect we have observed as well. And I think that shouldn't be the case.
Right.
Because people who used to utilize the pool in the past are not the same now.
Right. I've seen this in other municipalities throughout Rhode Island, where a park or a center has become used more by the newer people who are coming up. They look different from the people who initially built it.
Yes.
And so what they do is they move to either close the park or to neglect it till it falls apart. And then they say, well, now it's a mess, right? Let's close it. So I would hate to see Budlong fall into that pattern.
And not on my watch.
Yeah.
As long as I am the council person here,
Yeah.
that's not gonna happen.
Okay. So I went by Budlong on the way here, just coincidentally. I didn't know that was going to come up. But I did notice that. I thought, wow, the building looks... I mean, I haven't seen Budlong in, I don't even know, 20 years. Because I lived in Providence, right? Yeah. But I looked at it and said, it looks much more... The building looks more dilapidated, but the pool itself looks fine. The pool seems like... I didn't see any... I didn't look closely, but I didn't see any structural damage or anything. So even if you were to keep the building closed for repairs at some point, you could still probably open up the pool, right?
From what the administration says, it looks like there are a crack under.
Oh, really?
Yes, and it's it's a big pool.
Yes, it is.
And because they are losing water.
Okay.
So that's what they say. But I am curious to know what the cost of repairing it.
Yeah.
Or tearing it apart to build a new ones.
Right.
So from what they say, because I would like to have the expert, who, if there is someone who really evaluate, say, hey, if we, this is the cost to tear down the facilities, and this is the cost to rebuild a new one.
Right.
And I can have, a balance to see, okay, if we tear the facility down, if we, replace this pool, and this is where we're going to save money, or this is where we're going to, spend more money. There also, there is a grant that was submitted for federal, the federal grant, and I also email, and I'm been in contact with the delegation, I emailed Congressman Jean Langevin, I emailed Congressman David Cicilline, I emailed Senator Reid and Senator Whitehouse, so to ask them to push to see how we can have the grant as well. And I think while we're waiting, this process is a long process to go to the House and to the Senate and then to vote on it. So I said, while we're waiting for the federal grant, we don't know if we will receive the full amount or not.
Right.
It's a $2.8 million. The grant submission was. Why not have like really someone who say, hey, this is how much it's gonna cost, and use the RPA money to start the work.
Request for proposals process, the RFP process. You put that out, and then the city of Cranston puts that out, and then people from around the world can sort of say, oh, I have a proposal for you, and they give you you say we want to fix up this pool, so we want proposals. Pool guys are going to show up and say, here's what it's going to cost. They're going to have all sorts of visions for it. So that's a process that is pretty routine for cities and towns.
Exactly. And I email the grant writer since October 2021, almost a year now.
Yeah.
And asking to look for grants. Okay? And it wasn't until I think May or June, and while she came before the city council to give a report, that I learned she submitted the grant. Okay? And she didn't even reply to me to say, okay, to follow up to your email, this is what I did.
Oftentimes I think people need to be, you have to stay on top of them a little bit, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can't just you can't just put in a request and expect people are going to answer, because either they get busy or they don't care, but you have to kind of push to get answers.
Yes. And I learned my lesson. So I am going to keep pushing and keep asking until something is done. And I think we need to start now if we want it really to be open next year, because as we witness the heat we had this year,
it's not going to get better.
It's not going to get better. No, so if we want it to be open to serve the community, we got to start right now, the work. Okay. So that's why I keep it in the agenda for monthly updates.
Does the city council meet monthly or weekly, bi-weekly?
Oh, we have the we have a general meeting every fourth Monday of the month. That's the whole council meeting. Okay. But we do have like special meeting. We call special meeting. And we have committee meetings. Okay. So we have committee meetings twice, depending on the subject. So we have, for example, I am part of the committee Safety and Services Committee. I am in the Ordinance Committee, and I am also in the Claim Committee. So those we met Monday and Thursday, depending how or where is like the holidays fall or when the Mondays fall. So we have one on Monday and on Thursday. So depending on what in the calendar, it can be the first Monday or the second Monday if there is no holidays, for example. Yeah.
So a big part of the job for a city councilor is constituent services as well, right?
Yes.
People call you and say, hey, this doesn't work. Like you mentioned earlier, trash isn't picked up, or the road isn't plowed fast enough, or any number of other things, right? I saw a suspicious person, or that stop sign is missing, however it goes, right?
Yes.
All these things. And so how does that work for you? Because being a city councilor is really just a second job, right? You have this job that you do every day.
Yes.
And then you have this other job that you also have to do every day. And I don't want to say it's a part-time job because I don't think
It's a full-time job.
right. I don't think city council is a part-time job in a city
No.
the size of Cranston. It just isn't.
No, he's not.
And it doesn't pay enough to be your only
No.
full-time job, right?
No, it doesn't.
Not even close. So, because it doesn't have professional level pay, so you're doing it, and it's like you're putting in a lot of time on this. So, what does that look like doing constituent services? Is it just having a list of phone numbers that you can call and prioritize people in your district to the top, or is it more or ward, or is it more to it? What does that look like? What does constituent services look like?
We have a constituent services in the city hall.
Mm-hmm.
So some of my constituents, sometimes they call city hall or they call police directly. But in case when they email me, they text me, they call me.
Yeah.
So I took the call when it comes. If I miss it, I call back. When they email me, I try to be like in the 24 or to 48 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the frame time I answer an email. I do my best to be responsive, really, really responsive. And there are some issue that you cannot really solve it in one day. So I have to call back. For example, the way it works, you cannot, that's the rules we have, you cannot directly call the department of head of a department, for example, to ask them to do something. Okay. You have to go through the administration. So whenever I have an email, a call about something, now I took it, I email, so I have to email the constituent affair in the city hall.
Yeah.
So I send this to the constituent affair, and then they go into follow up. So for me, I don't like it because it takes a little longer to do. But I think for them it's work because not everybody bring the same topic at the same time to the same person.
Yeah.
So that's how it works. But when it comes to policies, perspective. So, for example, if someone, asks for a stop sign, I have to put an ordinance for it.
Right.
If someone, for example, last night I had an ordinance for a stop sign. I had this resident call me, and I missed the call. And I call back, and when I talk to him, he said, I would like you to come down to see what I'm saying. You have to see this with your own eyes. And I drive down to the street where the person requests to have the stop sign. And this gentleman, working the neighborhood with me and, introduced me to all the people who want this stop sign. So, and I said, okay, so I'm gonna work on it. And for something like this, I cannot send it to the constituent affair. So I have to take on it.
Yeah, right. And although it helps that you're on the safety committee, because I think that's the one that takes up the stop signs. So,
yes.
Yes.
So I have to draft the ordinance and submit it. But for other things like like paving, like snow, for example, when we have the snowstorm, snow removal, the street have not been plowed. When I have the calls, so I have to send it to the constituent affair. Okay. When we have the trash who have not been picked up, for example, we had little things people don't think that was a big thing. Your trash barrel. And unfortunately, we have a rat issue in Cranston. And some of residents have been asking for replacement of the trash barrel that has been, damaged, have holes in them.
Yeah.
And that, helping the rats to come in to find things. And they, when I was like asking, because I say, when I have those email and I request to have a communication to tell how this is work, why the resident been complaining they cannot have their barrels replaced or the lid replaced, and what's the problem. And after we have this communication and a few weeks later, and I saw the truck coming and removing, replacing, and I was like so happy to see that. And I post that on Facebook, and I was like, and at that moment, and I was like, I've been asking for one for 2 years, and someone like, I've been calling, no answer. And I did not know that was a big issue until we have this conversation.
These kind of trash things we've had in Providence for a while, and what happens is the trucks pick them up. They're very rough with them, those little fletcher arms, and when they put them down, they bang them or they drop off, and so they do break over time.
They do. And the thing is, when you do not replace them, and they full of the trash, and you have rats, and it's a mess.
It is. Okay, so one of the nice things about city council races is you don't have to worry about the big national, gigantic issues so much. They come into the city council, but most of the time, that's not what people ask their city councilor about, right? Like guns and abortion. I mean, it shows up in the city council, but it's not. The city council doesn't really have the ability to do much about those issues, so they kind of just, But are there any big issues that you hear from people when you're walking? Like, do people come to you and say, "Hey, this is important to me," or "This is," anything like that?
Excuse me. People tend to, separate. This is local, this is state level, this is a federal, and I think there is no separation. For me, that's my opinion. There is no separation. Because the issue that affect local people, it affect all of us.
Right.
Because at the local level, local government is the backbone. So if you have a local government that doesn't work for the people, and the same people that will want to go to state level, to federal level. So the issue of guns, of abortion, all of those are really important for everyone. Whether you are in the local, we may not have the power to really address them in a way that is effective, but we should look at them. So in what I can do, for example, you can pass a resolution to support, that's things I do, to support a bill at the state level. The same way the state level can pass a resolution to support a bill at the federal level. So it's a chain, it's a system. So if one of the, part of the system doesn't work, it affects the whole system. So in my district right here, when you knock the doors, people keep saying, oh my god, you see what happened, what is going on in federal level. This is people are worried. People are worried. And as you mentioned, people are worried about gun violence, people are worried about abortion rights, people are worried about economy. Right now, as we know, we have this inflation. People tend to really concentrate on how to put, a bread at the tables. But at the same time, people are worried about their rights. People are worried about voting rights, about a woman's rights to choose to body autonomy. People are worried about sending your child to school and not be safe. Those are issues we at the local level we are concerned about, and we should all make sure when we vote to make sure that those rights. And we know last 2 months or 3 months ago of the Supreme Court Roe v. Wade.
Oh yes.
This is a blow to everyone.
Yeah.
And it's not because we cannot legislate federally is not concern us, because people who are affected by those laws are people that live next to you. It's your neighbors.
Right.
It's your daughter, it's your sister. People minimize the question, for example, for abortion.
Yeah, right.
I believe your faith should not be a burden to somebody else right to be who they are, to take the responsibility for their action. And I think we are in a really slippery slope when people think that someone or the government should, tell a woman, this is how you have to do this. I understand people this says, or their faith, for religious people, a lot of religious people that, for me, confuse morality and legality.
Yes.
So those things doesn't work together.
Mm-hmm.
Your morality and legality doesn't match. When we are in the legality, that's the hypocrisy they have. When we talk about legality, the right for a person to, live, to pursue the happiness, that's a word in our declaration of, the constitutions. Everyone is equals to pursue their happiness.
Right.
So you don't tell me how to pursue my happiness based on your morality. No. And that's the slippery slope we have. So when you knock the doors, then they say, hey, locally, this is what I am concerned of. But at the same time, people say, I'm worried. Do you see what's going on? Do you know what's going on? I am worried. Mm-hmm. People are worried. And that's why I think this election cycle is, it's matter. It's matter, and every vote matters. Every Democrat, I will encourage them, please go out to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Go out to vote. We have this CDC race, and I am saddened to see some people they don't understand what is at stake here.
Right.
A lot of people said that former Mayor Fong is a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
This race is not about a good guy. This race is about protecting what we have left, which is the house that can codify Roe v. Wade, which is the house that can take more aggressive steps to ensure voting rights. It is protecting the house that can take more aggressive steps to make sure we have common sense gun laws.
Right.
It's not about a good guy. Unfortunately, when they elect former President Trump, we have a shift in the Republican Party. The Republican Party that was existed is no longer. That's why you will see every Republican who still have a little decency, they disassociate themselves. They don't leave the party, but they make a stand
Right.
about what is not right. And you can see it because before, Republican Party was about philosophy. They have their different philosophy on how to address them.
Mm-hmm.
And what we observe right now, it's an extreme mega disciples of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And Alan Fong is no different. The good guy it was when he won 2008, 2014 is no longer exist. If he won this race, he will not be someone who will stand for people.
Right.
He will go with the extra, Taylor Green,
Yep.
McCarty, Josh Ashley. It will go with those extra because this is the way they do things right now. It's all about power.
Right.
Keep the power. And they lost all sense of values that used to be democratic values. They lost all sense of truth, of facts. They fall into this big lie, election deniers, lying to just keep power.
Yeah. It is too bad.
It is bad. It is a sad moment for democracy. It is sad to see that. And that's why I believe that Seth Magazine is the right choice for the people.
Okay. Cool. I want to wrap up because I don't want to go too long. I wanted to keep this under an hour. When you're, what's your pitch? What do you tell people to get them to vote for you? What is your, I know we've talked a lot about what you are, but like when you put it all down, distill it all into a few lines, like you've only got my attention for 2 minutes. What do you say? So why should someone in your district vote for you as city councilwoman?
Why someone should vote for me? First, I am in the community. I am a mom. I got 3 children attending public school in Cranston.
Mm-hmm.
I know all the facets, what the issues are in Cranston. And I work to address them before I was even elected.
Right.
So I am doing the work. I am very responsive. I am present and I voice the concern. I am the voice. And I said it since I won the first time. When you call me, you bring something to me, I don't sit. And I am independent.
Mm-hmm.
I am a Democrat, but I vote with my values on things that matters to me,
Right.
to my constituents. And I listen. So I bring people together. And I believe everyone has a little good on them, and I see the good, and we start by the good.
Okay.
And we can change, I believe we can change people's mind. I believe we can educate people. And that's what I'm doing. So through my first term, I passed more than 8 resolutions where we address issues, where we have the conversation going, and I want to see how to improve the quality of life, which is very important for me.
Right.
It doesn't matter you have a mansion. It doesn't matter you have $1 billion. We all are human beings. We should live a decent life.
Mm-hmm.
You should live in a street that is clean, safe for your children to play.
Right.
If you do not have a big yard, you should be able to have, playground that is accessible, that is, disability, adapted,
Yeah.
and your children should have equal access to education. I stand for 21st century education, and for me, I'm fighting, even though as a council person, I don't have the power to really address educational policy, but I support to have a school that is equitable. The quality education should be equitable.
Okay.
And I fight for that. We should support our teachers who are the backbone of our society, because education is the equalizer. That's why we said. But when we have in our city, we have two different schools. One that can give all access to those students, because the system is in place in a way you have access. When you leave the schools, you have more access to success, or then the other, that's when we need to address. That's why I always talk about equitable education. I am working to ensure that our small businesses thrive, to support them. I am working on to make sure our neighborhood are healthy. We are living in a neighborhood who not only that's clean but healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I am here to make sure we bring people together. We have this, what Dr. King will say, a beloved community.
Mm-hmm.
So you should vote for me because I am doing the work.
Cool. I think that was pretty good. Is there anything I should have asked that I didn't? Anything I should have asked that I didn't? I'm sorry.
Yes. I want to address a little thing about Haiti.
Yeah, that was on my list, but I wasn't sure you wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
In this context.
In this
Let's
context.
do that. Yes, let's do that.
I've
heard on the way here, I listened to BBC, and things are not good in Haiti right now.
No, they are not. They are not. I know I'm a Haitian-American.
Mm-hmm.
I was born and raised in Haiti. So my foundation, Haiti gave me a solid foundation. So if I am who I am here right now, because of my education I have in Haiti. But at this time, children cannot go to school in Haiti.
Right.
Children stay home.
I know.
Parents cannot go to work in Haiti right now.
Right.
So I cannot not really mentioning something about Haiti.
Sure.
So as you know, and thank you so much for covering our press conference last week. We are asking really all, allies, Haitian allies, Haiti allies, Haiti friends, to really take another look. What is happening in Haiti right now, it's inadmissible.
Yeah, it really is.
And something must be done. And it has to be done right this time. Because Haiti has been occupied, by the United States.
Yeah.
1915. Okay? 19 years of occupations. Haiti has intervention over intervention. 1994, when they have a coup to the first president elected democratically. In 2004, the same, another coup.
Right.
And what we have a group of elites that has the monopoly of the economic system in Haiti, that has the power, the money to lobby in Washington. And they are the same over and over that always lobby and to keep whenever it's a corrupt government that will do their dirty work for them. And that has to stop. They have to make sure this time they listen to all actors. Have everybody at the table, not one side, but everyone at the table, to have open dialogue, open discussion, to really, for once, we put an end on what is going on in Haiti. Haiti needs help.
It does.
And we need everyone to understand we cannot let Haiti die like this.